Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. On this video tonight I am going to be giving you a preview for the Brighton Manchester United game in the Carbaro Cup 4th round. Tomorrow night, quarter-8 kickoff at the Amex Stadium. This is the second time we are playing Brighton in 4 days, and we are looking to beat them for the second time this season. We recently beat Brighton by 3 goals to 2 in the league. Now, we progressed to the 4th round of the Carbaro Cup by beating Luton in the previous round by 3 goals to 0. It was obviously no goals from Juan Mata, Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood. Brighton progressed to the 4th round by obviously beating Preston in the previous round 2-0, and before that they had beaten Portsmouth by 4 goals to 0. Now, I do think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will make changes from the game at the weekend. Now, I do believe that Dean Henderson will start in goal. Don't forget, in the previous round against Luton, Dean Henderson made his full debut for the football club. Now, I've said that Solskjaer should have put Dean Henderson as number 1 this season, because I think Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number 1 goalkeeper, because he has got that experience behind him, because he recently endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. And Dean Henderson has been at Manchester United since the age of 14, so he has been part of the club for several years. A few weeks ago, Dean Henderson had signed a 6-year deal with Manchester United worth around 120 grand a week. But I think he will play in this game tomorrow night, will Dean Henderson. So David De Gea will be dropped, but David De Gea will remain our number 1 for this season. This season is obviously David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United. I think he's had around 7 good years as David De Gea, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he has made. David De Gea has made over 400 appearances for Manchester United in all competitions. 300 odd of those appearances have come in the Premier League, but De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club, and he has won individual awards reflecting on his good run of performances. David De Gea will stay at Manchester United for at least another season. We could possibly sell him next summer. We paid just over £18 million for De Gea from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. But when he does leave Manchester United, I think he will go back to Spain. Main explanations is because he was born in Spain, his relatives are from Spain, girlfriend from Spain, and plus back in 2015 he was very, very close to joining Real Madrid. But due to fax machine, his move to Madrid didn't materialise. Now, I also expect Eric Bailly to start this game tomorrow night against Brighton. Bailly didn't start in the game at the weekend against Brighton. Victor Lindelof had surprisingly started. But I'd actually prefer Eric Bailly ahead of Victor Lindelof, because I think Bailly is a better centre-half. My only element of concern about Eric Bailly is that he is injury prone. Bailly has endured around 4 years now with Manchester United. We got him from Villarreal back in 2016 for £30 million. I expect Brandon Williams to come in at left back for this game. As it stands at the moment, Brandon Williams is our backup left back. And I think last season, Brandon Williams did very, very well. Last season was his first season in our senior squad. Don't forget, Brandon Williams recently signed a 4-year contract with Man United, and he does now wear the number 33 shirt. He's the first player to wear the number 33 since Paddy McNair. So I think that Luke Shaw will be dropped for this game. Luke Shaw is our first choice left back at this present time. Luke Shaw's improved under Solskjaer, but my element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he is injury prone. He's just recently recovered from an ankle injury. Luke Shaw's endured around 6 years with Manchester United. We paid £30 million for him from Southampton back in 2014. Now, I also expect Juan Mata to be starting this game. Juan Mata did very, very well in the third round against Luton, like I mentioned, got his name on the score sheet. I know that Juan Mata doesn't get a lot of chances now, but when he does make a fantastic impact. Juan Mata has been a long-serving player at the club, but I think he's had a good career at Manchester United. He's enjoyed around 6 years with the club. We got him in 2014 from Chelsea for just under £40 million, Juan Mata. Lingard, I also expect him to be involved. Now, Lingard is one of the players that's been linked with a move away from Manchester United. Don't forget, it said the other week that Tottenham were interested in Jesse Lingard and Tottenham were in talks to get in, and Tottenham were preparing to put around the £30 million bidding for him because Jose Mourinho is keen on reuniting with the player. Jesse Lingard's representatives have been in talks with clubs in England, don't forget. Solskjaer did say though he wants Lingard to stay. Lingard has been part of the club for several years. Lingard's been at Manchester United, I think, since like 2000, and he's been in our senior squad since 2011. Lingard's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. But I expect him to be involved in this game. Odin Ighalo, he's also another player I expect to start this game tomorrow night. Now, obviously, Odin Ighalo will get his starts in the cup games, but in like the league games, his appearances will come from the substitutes bench. We got Odin Ighalo on deadline day in January. The main explanation why I recommended Odin Ighalo in, because we needed a cover up to Marcus Rashford, didn't we? Don't forget, Ighalo was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup last season, and I think after the first lockdown, Odin Ighalo had extended his loan until January 2021. Donny van de Beek, I also expect him to start this game tomorrow. Donny van de Beek has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. I thought he did well in our 1-0 defeat to Aston Villa in pre-season. He also did well in our 3-1 defeat to Crystal Palace on the opening day of the Premier League season. Came on and scored on his Premier League debut. Also did well in the previous round against Luton, and also did well at the weekend when he came on. We got Donny van de Beek in a deal worth £40 million. Donny van de Beek signed a 5-year contract on Man United with an option of a further year. I also expect Fred to start this game. And I've got to say, I think Fred has really, really improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Fred has obviously found game time difficult since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes. Fred has been at the club now for a couple of years. I think we got Fred in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. We paid £52 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk. Possibly Matic could be involved in this game as well. I think a lot of aspects of Matic's game have improved. Matic has enjoyed a few years now at Manchester United. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Not so long ago, he signed a 3-year deal with the football club. Possibly McTominay could be involved. There's still aspects of McTominay's game that do need to improve, don't get me wrong. Don't forget, last season McTominay had that ankle injury, and not so long ago he signed a 5-year deal with Manchester United. I expect Wan-Bissaka to keep his place at right back, unless we go with someone else at right back. If we don't start Wan-Bissaka at right back, we'll probably start Timothy Foster-Mensah, won't we? Because he's our backup right back to Wan-Bissaka. And Wan-Bissaka's obviously got to improve his attacking intent, because that's what he's lacking at the moment. But I think Wan-Bissaka's defensive contributions always been very, very good. This season is Wan-Bissaka's second season at Manchester United. We obviously got him in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. But I think he can be our right back for the next 9 to 10 years. Can Wan-Bissaka. I do expect Harry Maguire to keep his place in the team, obviously. I think probably Harry Maguire is the best centre-half we've got at the moment. When Solskjaer's already made his decision on Harry Maguire, he will remain our captain this season. This season's Harry Maguire's second season at the club. Last season was his first season at the club. We got Harry Maguire in a deal worth £80 million from Leicester last summer. So as it stands at the moment, he's the second most expensive signing at the club and the most expensive centre-half in the world. Tomorrow, I don't think Smalling will be involved in this game because he's been linked to a move away from Manchester United. Roma are preparing to put a second bid in for the player. We want around 18 million for Chris Smalling. Don't forget, Smalling was out on loan with Roma last season. Phil Jones, he won't be involved because he's been linked to a move away from the club and I think he's injured. Obviously, Rojo won't be involved because he's linked to a move away from the club. Alex Tuanzebe, he's still injured at the moment, but Solskjaer confirmed he will be back within the next couple of weeks. So I think he will be fit after the international break. Daniel James, he could also be involved in this game tomorrow against Brighton. Don't forget, Daniel James has been linked with a move away from the football club. Leeds United have been interested in Daniel James. Leeds have inquired about getting him on loan. He recently said that Leeds were preparing to put around a £12 million bid in for Daniel James. But Daniel James did recently say that he wants to stay at Manchester United and he wants to fight for his place. Now, we did get Daniel James last summer in a deal worth £18 million. And for the vast majority of last season, Daniel James did play a lot of he got a lot of starts and he played a lot of our games, yeah. And I thought, from my own perception, Solskjaer overplayed him. But towards the end of last season, Daniel James wasn't really getting, his starts, was he? But in January 2019, Leeds came very, very close to getting Daniel James. But obviously, Swansea pulled out of the deal right at the final hurdle, don't forget. But I think for this game tomorrow night, we'll also rest quite a few players, I think. Like I mentioned, Bruno Fernandes, I don't think he will start. Bruno Fernandes has done very, very well for Manchester United since he came from Sporting Lisbon in January. Don't forget he won some Busby Player of the Season last season, reflects on his good performances. I think he's won Premier League Player of the Month 3 times, reflecting on his good run of performances. And he must have scored 13, 14 goals for Man United in all competitions since his arrival. We got Bruno Fernandes in a deal worth £55 million from Sporting Lisbon. I think Marcus Rashford, he won't start this game against Brighton. And I've got to say, I think Rashford has improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. We know now that Marcus Rashford does play on that left-hand side, doesn't he? Rashford's recently recovered from an ankle injury. Don't forget, he also had a back injury for us last season when he was out for a couple of months. But Rashford has been part of the club for several years. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. And since then, he has become an integral part of our team. But I think he's been with us now around 15 years. Martial, he won't start this game against Brighton tomorrow, I don't think. I've also been very, very impressed with Anthony Martial. I think he's really, really improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Last season, he was exceptional. We know now that Martial plays in that number 9, but Martial is very, very effective in that central position, even though it isn't his predominant position, because for the vast majority of Martial's career at Man United, he's played out wide. Martial has enjoyed around 5 years or so with the football club. I thought he was also very, very good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. We paid around £36 million for Anthony Martial. Paul Pogba, I don't think he'll start this game tomorrow against Brighton. To be honest, we know Paul Pogba hasn't enjoyed a good start to the season, let's be honest. Because I thought he was very, very poor in the Crystal Palace game. Give the ball away too many times, but did have a couple of shots outside the box. Weren't so good against Brighton in the league recently, was he, Paul Pogba? But I thought towards the end of last season, Paul Pogba made an impact, and I thought his combination with Bruno Fernandes was very, very good. Now, there is uncertainty regarding Paul Pogba's future. Maybe there still is a slight chance that he could leave, but I think he'll stay for this season. I just think we need to get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract to the football club to end the uncertainty over his future, because Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. Now, as it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. And Fabrizio Romano did say, that Paul Pogba wants to stay at Man United because he is happy at Manchester United. He did say a few weeks before the end of last season that Pogba was close to signing a 5-year deal with the club. But Pogba's agent Mini Raiola quite a few weeks ago said that, Paul Pogba will stay at Manchester United and he will hold talks over a new contract. For the vast majority of last season, didn't really have a perception on him because he was out with that ankle injury. Pogba's sustained a few injuries as a Manchester United player. Like I've mentioned, Victor Lindelof, I don't think he will start. There's still aspects of Victor Lindelof's game that's obviously, got to improve. Because Victor Lindelof's been very inconsistent recently. I think Victor Lindelof's enjoyed around 3 years with Manchester United. We obviously got him back in 2017 from Benfica for around £30 million. So yeah, Solskjaer, will make changes. But I've got to say, the Carbaro Cup is a priority for Manchester United. I think we've won the League Cup 5 times. The last time we won it was back under the Jose Mourinho era in 2017, and we won it on 4 occasions under the Sir Alex Ferguson era. As for Brighton, they've got a few injuries, I think. I think they've got 3 players out of there. They've got Jose Izquierdo out. They've also got Christian Walton out. And they've got Florin Andorn out with injury. And I think they've also still got Bissimau, however you pronounce his name, out with suspension. That's what Brighton have got. But like I've mentioned, Brighton have got some good players in their team. They've obviously, got that Maupay, who I think is probably one of their best players. They've obviously got Aaron Connolly. He's just recently recovered from injury. They've got Trossard. Don't forget, he was the one that hit the post 3 times in the game on Saturday. On the game on Saturday, Brighton had hit the woodwork around 5 times in total. They've obviously, got Adam Lallana. They recently got him from Liverpool on a free. They've also got Ben White. He recently extended his contract with Brighton. They've got Lewis Dunk. He's a very good centre-half for them. They've got Alexis McAllister. He's also pretty good for Brighton. I think Lewis Dunk is a pretty good centre-half for them. Brighton have just recently let Dale Stephens go to Burnley, and he just recently recovered from injury. Tariq Lamptey, he's also very, very good for Brighton, and he caused a few problems in the game on Saturday. He's just recently recovered from injury. But you've got to say, we rode our luck in the game on Saturday against Brighton. Obviously, the game did end 3-2. Brighton scored first from a Maupay penalty. It was obviously Bruno Fernandes that had brought Tariq Lamptey down in the box. Then obviously we'd got level from a Lewis Dunk own goal. Then obviously the second goal came from Marcus Rashford, the assist from Bruno Fernandes, and obviously Solly March had equalised for Brighton in the 95th minute of stoppage time. Solly March had also hit the inside of the post. And then obviously, the game had actually, ended 2-2. And then obviously, we'd been given a penalty after the final whistle because Harry Maguire had headed it. And it had obviously, hit Maupay's hand. And then obviously, Solly March had cleared it off the line. But VAR intervened and obviously give the penalty. Then Bruno Fernandes scored the penalty in the 100th minute. So we did win the game. And that was obviously not our first league win of the season. All that matters is, we did get the win. Brighton's current manager is Graham Potter, isn't it? I think Brighton is the third club in his managerial career because obviously before he was at Brighton, he was at Swansea. And before he was at Swansea, he was at Östersund. But we have beaten Brighton a few times now at the Amex. We beat them at the weekend 3-2. We beat them there last season by 3-0. But there again, Brighton have beaten us a couple of times at the Amex Stadium. They once beat us there 3-2, and they once also beat us there 1-0. But I'm just hoping, that we can progress to the 5th round of the competition. So that is your preview for the Brighton-Manchester United game. Now, I want to give you an update on some transfer news. So, we'll start with the news on Alex Telles. So, according to Mohamed Bouafsi, Manchester United have put a second bid in for Alex Telles. Now, it said recently that we'd put around a £12 million bid in for him. Porto have revealed their asking price. They do want around £18 million, but we've been reluctant to meet their asking price. Porto have already lowered their asking price because at the first they wanted in the £20 million range. Now, there's a few shirt numbers that we could offer Alex Telles. Now, Alex Telles does wear the number 13 at Porto. When he was at Galatasaray, he wore the number 15. Alex Telles has already agreed personal terms with Manchester United, and he's already agreed a 5-year contract with the football club worth around £70,000 a week. But no fee has yet come to an agreement, but we are still in negotiations with Porto over coming to an agreement on a fee. Now, Alex Telles has got a release clause of around £36 million. And he's in the final year of his contract with Porto. So from a Porto perspective, they'd rather cash in for him now rather than letting go on a free transfer next year. He's enjoyed a few years with Porto, hasn't he? Don't forget. Before he was at Porto, he had a loan spell with Inter Milan. He also played for Galatasaray before. And when he was younger, he played for Carbaro and Juventude. And if Porto do sell him, then they do have to pay 10% of the transfer fee to Galatasaray due to the sell-on clause. Now, don't forget, a few weeks ago, Tellez' agent was in Manchester to thrash out a deal for his client to join Manchester United. But Tellez has already confirmed that he wants to leave Porto. And Porto's boss did recently make an admission saying that he could leave in the next fortnight. He said that the other week. Now, I'd love Man United to sign Tellez because he's predominantly a left back, and Manchester United are in search for a left back. We have got two predominant left backs in the team at the moment, and that's Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams. But my element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone, like I've mentioned, and Brandon Williams is our backup left back. So that's the breaking news on Tellez. We've been looking at a few alternatives to Tellez. We've been looking at Tagliafico from Ajax. We've also been looking at Torre from Monaco. So that's the news on him. So Tellez could be our second signing in this summer transfer window. Now let me delve into some news on Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. So according to Sky Sports, we have had a £91 million bid turned down from Borussia Dortmund for Jadon Sancho. Because it says, we was going to put a bid in for him this week. It says we was going to offer 75 million up front with 15 million in add-ons. Now, Jadon Sancho has been left out of Borussia Dortmund's squad for their game against Bayern Munich in the German Super Cup on Wednesday. And Marco Reus, who's obviously a Borussia Dortmund player, he insists that Sancho will stay at Dortmund for one more year. Don't forget, Lucien Favre, Borussia Dortmund's boss, said he'll stay. Sebastian Kehl, Borussia Dortmund's head of football, he also said that Sancho will stay and he won't leave this summer. And he says Man United won't get him in a cut price deal. And Michael Zorg, their sporting director, also said that he will end up staying. Don't forget, Matt Judge had recently flew out to Germany to negotiate a deal. But Solskjaer said he's expecting Sancho's transfer to Man United to be completed this week. Solskjaer has held quite a few negotiations with Jadon Sancho, hasn't he? And I heard that Sancho's told Solskjaer that he wants to come to Manchester United. Borussia Dortmund's valuation is £108 million. And like I've said throughout the course of this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block, because we've not been determined to meet what they are demanding. Now, I know that Sancho has agreed terms with the club over a long-term contract. But Sancho is our number one priority target, and we've been in for him for like the last 3 years, but we did confirm we are not giving up on the signing of the player. So that's the breaking news on Sancho. But we've got to make at least 2 signings this week, because this is the final week of the transfer window, and as it stands at the moment, we have only made 1 signing, and that was Donny van de Beek. And Solskjaer recently revealed that he has been infuriated with the lack of transfer activity. But in that aspect, that the blame stems from the board, because I don't think, the board up until this point have been backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, and I think Solskjaer does deserve more backing as Manchester United manager. But we've been very, very critical of the board for several years anyway, reflecting on how poor our recruitment policy's been. I think, the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't been backed enough. We've overpaid for players in recent years, and we've also made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years. Woodward's been at the football club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005, And Solskjaer so far has spent around £240 million at the football club, and to be fair, he has made good signings, hasn't he? But we've also got to get rid of players in this summer transfer window, and departures for a while have been difficult for Man United. It says we could sell up to 7 players this week. Now, as you all know, Pereira to Lazio is done. He's gone to Lazio on a one-season loan. There's an option to buy for just over £24 million, and it includes a 5-year contract worth £35,000 a week. But I said Man United needed to offload Andres Pereira, but we're still looking to get rid of Lingard. We're looking to get rid of Smalling. We're looking to get rid of Rojo. We're looking to get rid of Jones. We're also looking to get rid of Diego Dalot. I give you the news on Diego Dalot earlier on. Di Marzio did say that AC Milan have made a loan offer for Diego Dalot. Fabrizio Romano said it includes an option to buy. Diego Dalot can't get in our team, can he? You know, Dalot's enjoyed a few years at the club. We paid £19 million in from Porto in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. And don't forget, Sergio Romero, he's also open to leaving the football club because Romero is now our third choice goalkeeper, isn't he? Because Dean Henderson had recently returned. But he's still deadwood at the club, and we need to sell players to generate money, and it will help us with our rebuilding process. But to be fair, we have got rid of a lot of the deadwood since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in to the club. You know what I mean? Our next league game is Tottenham. That's going to be our first hard game. And Solskjaer has taken a swipe at Mourinho ahead of this showdown. The game, is it on Sunday, will be the third meeting between Solskjaer and Mourinho. Well, obviously Solskjaer's Manchester United manager is his third meeting with Jose Mourinho, and Jose Mourinho will be reuniting with the club. So that will be a very, very interesting game, won't it? But this season's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second full season at the club, and I said this season is big for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think he's got to guide us to a top 4 finish and win a trophy if he is to, keep his job at Manchester United. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.